Okay. Put that in. There we go. Let's bring this up. Let's move this a little bit. And let me get this. We're going to see if we can't. Yep, cool. Okay, so it seems to be working for me. We'll see. Doop, doop, doop. There. We'll copy that and we'll send it to a couple places. Because I've been told a couple times that we've done this recently that for some reason we are not getting notifications. I hope that's starting to correct itself. But just in case, post it to one or two of the rooms just to see how it goes. Okay, so there's that. We'll post it there. Oh, no, crap. There. We'll put it up on Twitter, I guess. And then I guess Instagram would be fine. I got a couple of rooms that I post in, so we'll go there. We'll do that, and then we're just gonna call it and keep going like we've been going, because there's no reason to get ourselves completely locked in here. And we do have to talk about a couple things too. So I'm kind of looking forward to some of the stuff. So there we go. There's this. There's the network. I'll post in there. Okay, now we'll see where it takes us. Hey, what's going on? Oh, that didn't work for some reason. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, so as normal, we'll kind of do the update and give some people a chance to get in here and talk to us and whatnot. Well, starting the update, this guy again. We very much are going to be... I'm going to be giving one of these away. I'm very much looking forward to giving one of these away, and I've been kind of debating how to do it. In terms of on here, I'm not 100% sure, but I do have an Instagram and I do have Twitter. I do not have anything else necessarily, nothing that I actually frequent or do. I have a Facebook. And I have a Facebook group for this, but I don't really check in there very often. So I'm thinking about picking one of those three, and once I pick one of those three, I'll probably post a picture of him, and then I'll say something like, hey, just post in there, hey, what's up, or tell me, how long you've been watching the show or whatever, and then if I pick you or whatever, which will be a random selection, then I'll probably say, I'll send a DM and say, hey, I need your information in order to send it to you, or something like that. Because in order to send this guy out, I have to have a way to do it. And it's more difficult to do on YouTube because there's no direct message type of thing on YouTube. It's not the same kind of monster as like a social network or something like that. It makes it a little more difficult. But I am playing around with the concept. It's funny that you should say that. So I know some people really do actually want this thing. Fancy looking vacuum you got there. It's that Doctor Who thing right next to you. First off, that's not a Doctor Who thing. That's a fantastic thing, okay? I got X. Actually, it's freaking Twitter. I know I'm the same way. I don't know why it's called X, though we know why, but I won't say it. Looks like Killer Robot from Black Mirror episode. Well, it's not. This is Herbie from Fantastic Four. That's exactly what he is. It's awesome. And this, I am going to be giving one away. This is the one that's going to sit in my room. He does two things. He has a button right here where his eye actually comes on and he projects the logo, the Fantastic Four logo. I can't really show it off. There it is. So that's a cool thing that he does. And then if I press this button, it plays the Fantastic Four music, the new Fantastic Four theme music. It has multiple compartments, so it opens up there. The head kind of moves off and whatnot. It has a component on the back that opens up. And then, of course, it does have movement. It's not crazy, but it does have movement. Its fingers move. Its elbows move. Its arms move. And then and it's pretty solid, actually. I mean, it is a hollow thing, but it's a nice, heavy thing. This thing is pretty cool, actually. And I'm going to figure out how I want to give one away because I have a second one, and that second one specifically is to give to somebody. That was the whole point that 2 were bought, is 1 is going to be given away. And I've just kind of been talking about it for a couple lives while I figure out the logistics of how it's going to be done. I think he's fantastic. I think he's really cool. And he's currently one of those things that was sold in the theaters alongside the movie. So if you went to the movie, you bought him, and then you could get candy, a drink, and a popcorn that came with him and whatnot. And he's just really awesome, man. It is Herbie. What's up, Bill? Forgot it was an unboxing day today. Rosie the robot looks different. Call it Twix. This version of Herbie reminds me of Johnny Five from Short Circuit, which is not a bad thing. I actually kind of, I'll be honest, I kind of miss Johnny Five sometimes. Might not be in the chat that much because dinner time, and after that there's Kamen Rider press conference for the next show tonight. So I'm going to be watching, getting details. That's fine. I remember him from the cartoon that couldn't use Johnny Storm. MCU looked at the Star Wars droid merch sales and said, we got to get one of those. I won't necessarily argue with that, but like, Herbie is part of the Fantastic Four, so it's not like it was egregious for them to pull him in. Everyone went bonkers over that flashlight head. So, where are we sitting currently? We're at 6 minutes. We got 5 votes, and we are currently sitting with Super 7 and Multiverse are tied. So we'll see how this goes. Saw Fantastic Four opening day. Should have used Herbie more. I like the idea that he was not necessarily overused and not necessarily underused. He was there. He was Herbie. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. In the context of the story they were telling, Herbie was an assistant. He was an assistant robot that helped with all different kinds of daily activities, including some superhero activities here and there, depending on what they needed him for. I actually liked his inclusion a lot, because they don't overdo it, and he's not... but at the same... like, he's not overdone to the point where they make him some sort of a gimmick that we're going to get tired of, but actually, at the same time, they keep him a main core of everything that's going on, but always to the background, because it makes sense. Like, we don't want him to be a main thing, but I do like the fact that they're going out of their way to acknowledge it. I liked Herbie in this movie. I actually did. And I liked there was a scene where they opened his face and then took the thing out and then put in a different program and closed his face. I thought that was really cool how they did that. I got a popcorn bucket. That is a working bat signal. Dude, some of these popcorn buckets are awesome. I have a Megan, and her face actually comes off, and it's the robot underneath. It's really cool. I picked Super 7, Bill. Thank you. Actually, never mind. Apparently, I can eat dinner whenever. Did you see the Super 7 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reaction box of 12 figures? No. No, I did not. Super 7 isn't something that I keep up with too often. I buy from them very sparingly because we've had issues in the past, me and Super 7. I feel like they're good, but at the same time, I feel like they're outdated, especially for the prices that they're asking, and sometimes what they're asking for doesn't make sense, because they'll put an entire line at like $60 a piece and then sell you a kid and still ask $60, $70. And I'm like, okay, hold on. But I will check that out. Who is your favorite character in the movie? For the new Fantastic Four movie, my favorite character. That's tough. It might be Sue in the context of the movie, but she had a lot to do. She was a central thing, and they didn't cheat her of her powers or anything like that. So like, could be her, but really that's a loaded question because my favorite character overall is always Ben. But they didn't utilize him to full extent this time. It wasn't a story that really focused on the loss of his humanity and things like that. We're very much at a point where it's been 4 years. He's kind of moved past that in a way. He's kind of come to grips with it. He is still having troubles, you can tell. He doesn't really know what to do with himself and things like that. And he's very much his only connection to the world seems to be his family. And he's really dug into that. And he doesn't know how to step outside of that and have real communication. He still likes the idea of like, you know, the kids like wanting to pick up the car and things like that. And he's just happy to play around and everything. He has moved to a place where he's functioning much better. But he's not over it. But they don't really dig into it right now because that's not what the story was calling for. The story is calling for the events that were happening. And they didn't really do a thing where they were like, okay, well, we have to shoehorn in another story at the same time so that other characters get their bits. I don't want them to do that. I would rather they take their time and build the Fantastic Four naturally through the course of stories. Yes, this time it was a Sue-centric thing, and all the rest of the family was a big part of that thing. Next time, if we want to focus on something a little different, that's fine. There were moments for everybody, to be fair. But the primary story does center around the idea that we are having Franklin. And that makes it a mother's story. And then a lot of the central problems kind of build around him, Franklin in general, and that directly affects the mother. I'm not saying it doesn't affect the father, but it directly affects the mother while the father is trying to figure out what to do and things of that nature. I thought every character was handled very well. I liked this Fantastic Four movie. I liked it a lot. I've already went to see it twice, so I enjoyed it quite a bit. I have some real hopes for where this goes. Big Bad Toy Store has that Storm Arena kin in stock. Jada's looking some serious competition. But Jada just showed off that they're also about to release a whole wave of alpha figures. So like, and the alpha figures that Jada is releasing, they look different. They look different. And I think that's really going to be impressive because Jada could have taken the easy route and they could have played the same game that Marvel Legends does. They could have said, this is our design, this is how we make figures. Now let's kind of change the costume up and do a Chun-Li. They didn't do that. If you look, the arms feel different, the knees feel different, the overall build feels different, the kind of textural idea feels different because now they're designing these to kind of look like they come from a different game, a different era. Those first couple images made me go, oh wow, that's going to be interesting. And I'm very interested to see where Jada takes it now, taking a risk like that. Because they didn't just take the easy Marvel Legends way out. They're going to another Street Fighter line, and they changed their design to do it. Apparently they got Mighty Morphin in Fortnite now, and Fortnite guys showed it more love than the Hasbro guys owning it. I don't know how fair that is. In order for them to use those Power Rangers, they had to get them from Hasbro, which means Hasbro had certain stipulations in order to license them out to Fortnite for Fortnite to use. Also, while I don't necessarily agree with it, Hasbro made a very, very specific business set when they said we are looking to slowly go out of toys, and they're looking to be a licensing company for properties that they own. So that's not necessarily fair what you're saying there, because at a business aspect, we expect that as they license Power Rangers out, they are still the ones in control of it, still the ones that own it, and still the ones that determine who it is that's going to take said property and then try to do something with it that hopefully builds for both the people that were given to them and the business that currently owns it. Like, you don't just want to farm, and this is going to sound some way, you don't just want to farm Ninja Turtles out to every single person that ever wanted to make them. You want to kind of be careful and say, okay, right, we're going to let you do this for a while. We're going to kind of let you do this thing and you do that thing. And then if you mess these things up, you won't be coming back to do them again. You want to kind of take care of your intellectual property at the same time that you're kind of loaning it out if you're not the one that's going to be dealing with them directly. And Hasbro specifically has said, and I'm not trying to be a Hasbro, I'm just simply saying business is business is business. It's our hobby. It's their business. We always have to kind of step back from the thing that we love, and we have to say, well, hold on, let me think about this in a business aspect, because I'm thinking about it in terms of I love toys and they didn't give me exactly what I wanted, like that kind of thing. And we're watching people get like fired and lose their jobs and things right now at Hasbro, which is definitely part of the reconstruction of what they want to do for their business future. Do I love that? No, absolutely not. I don't love that. I don't love the idea that some of these people are losing their jobs. Absolutely not. I come from an industry that sees losses every single year, and I'm not thrilled to see my brothers and sisters lose their jobs. Okay, I'm a hardcore. I am a union person. I believe in the union. I believe what it has done for me when it has worked. I'm not saying there's not a lot of work to do in terms of that, but this is an industry that I've lived in my whole life, and so I very much don't like to see people lose their jobs. But at the same point, I also very blatantly believe myself to have a decent enough grasp on how business is done differently than hobbies or desires. So I think I just look at these things very differently than other people do. They made a live action trailer with suits and new Megazord custom with the effects of the 90s TV show. Well, that's until you find out Storm Collectibles are terrible at distribution and Jada Toys beats them in that department. Funny you should mention that. I think I've only bought 2 Storm Collectibles ever. And I did kind of notice that it was really weird how much... Because I bought the Taki and they pushed her back like twice and then had like a delay on her. And then it was like sent, and then weirdly enough, like the service that they used to send it to me. And I don't know if this has anything to do with that or whatever necessarily. And this, actually, we have won with Super 7 because we have exceeded our time. Super 7 just won. In terms of Storm Collectibles, and when I tried to get Taki, they even kind of did something with the mail that none of the other people that have delivered here have done, where they like needed my signature. So she arrived at my house 4 days in a row, and of course she was showing up at like noon, and she was showing up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I could not sign for her because that wasn't a thing. And then she would go like right back, and then they'd be like, we will try again in a couple days. And so it took a long time for me to get her because I kept missing the mail, and then there was no I even tried to call them and I was like, I'll come to you and get it, and they're like, nah, that's not the way that works, warehouse policy, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, then I guess I don't know what to do. And I had to call them, and I had to make a verification that I could sign that they were allowed to leave it on my front porch digitally or whatever. So they sent me a verification email thing. And then I had to sign that it was okay for them to leave it on my doorstep and that I would not, claim anything if it wasn't there and blah 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 and all this other crap. It was a real pain, and I've only ever dealt with that in terms of getting toys from Storm, which I thought was really wild. Did you see the Galactus popcorn bucket? They kind of cheated people out of with only having a few at the theaters. Now, I don't exactly know what happened there, but I do know I have family that actually works general management at theaters. And they told me directly that at first they were told you're not getting them. Then they got a separate announcement, you are getting them, but it's extremely limited supply. And so, I know AMC theaters that only got 6. That's it. They got 6. You want it? You hope you're one of the very first 6 people in the door to watch this movie opening day, because we got 6. And I've seen it. I've seen the bucket in person because my dad got one, which I thought was unbelievable. I literally could not believe that. He calls me up and he goes, I got one. And I was like, one of what? And he goes, I went to see Fantastic Four. I got the Galactus bucket. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What? And he goes, you got to come see it. And I did, man. I went over to my dad's house and like his eyes light up and everything. And my dad took a pretty cool picture of it and everything. And I was like, holy shit, this is cool. It's really cool. It's really cool to see in person. But I don't know what happened in terms of why they were released in such extreme limited quantity. And maybe because it was an $80 bucket, which is pretty extreme. Maybe they didn't expect it to sell or be that sought after. And maybe with the history of the Fantastic Four movies, they thought this wouldn't be a big enough deal to sell out the popcorn buckets or something. I don't know. I don't know what the reason was for something like that. Let's see what. Let's see. Bam! There, get that up. So, I actually really liked the guy playing Johnny, but I wish there was more of him interacting with somebody other than the other Fantastic Four members. And I can get that, but I think honestly that's very important, because we have to establish first and foremost that the Fantastic Four are a family. Like, we have to have that at the very beginning, and you have to understand it. The most important people to these people are these people. 100%, and we have to get that out and there and 100%, and it can't be misunderstood that this is how they are built. And then we can have them kind of branch off into exterior conversations and exterior friendships. Really, they could have played up the idea, because Johnny in the original comics is kind of a gearhead. He likes to like build cars and hang out at the garages and stuff like that. But I think you would have been wasting Johnny potential in the building with his family. You have to know how he interacts with his sister. You have to know how he deals with Reed. You have to know how him and Ben get along or don't get along at any given time. What is their level of banter? How much do they irritate each other? We're 4 years into their family development. This is 4 years after the Fantastic Four. So like, they had to set the groundwork. So if you would have had him focusing on like going out to like build the hot rods and stuff like that, like he does in the comic books, you wouldn't really have as much time, because we only get like 2 hours. Like, movies are movies. We only get the time we have, so they have to pick what was necessary to focus on, and I actually really appreciate it. I got a real feeling from these people. I felt like they were family, and I felt like this really worked, and I think if you would have taken any time away from them, it would not have worked. I know the movie is in another universe, but I don't know if it's the 1960s or it's the current day, but everything looks like the 60s. It is in an alternate universe, yes, and as far as I can tell, they do not give it a date. It could very well be a universe where the 1960s equivalent never died out, or it could be the 1960s influenced by the idea that if the Marvel universe existed, our world would not look like our world. Like, you're talking about like we have Earth the way that it is right now, but Earth the way that it would be if we actually lived in a world where like we had already seen that there are aliens. Like, without a doubt, they're here. They've come to this planet directly. We know about other superheroes. We know about metahuman genes. We know about, the Fantastic Four and cosmic radiation and space travel and faster than light drives and things of that nature. There's no way that our 1960s would have looked the same in that world. And something I've always laughed about with comic books is, like, comic books has this weird thing where, like, I still see where, like, they'll do something where, like, some guy doesn't believe something. Like, he'll be like, no, that's bogus. I don't believe that. And, like, have you looked around at the universe that you live in? Have you seen what's happening around you? And then, like, characters, like, they'll be like, oh, Batman broke his back. Big deal. Big deal. You have technology from the expanded universe. They just take him to the Fortress of Solitude or something with Superman. You have Kryptonian medical tech. Get Wonder Woman. Go fire the purple beam at her. Use the purple light. Repair his back. Use some magic. New backbone. Clone a new backbone for him. Like, you're talking about a universe where, like, the technology and the understanding of the things that we have, there's no way that their world can look like our world or be stuck at the rate of technology that we're stuck at, but they are. Oftentimes they are. And I've always got a kick out of that with comic books, is like, all this fantastical stuff is happening that would be life-changing and world-changing. And yet, nothing. It's all pretty much looks exactly like our world. Like, you imagine in a universe like that where that kind of stuff happens, they would redesign the way they build buildings. Because they would have to. Insurance would work different. Cars would have to be built different. Like, all kinds of things would have to change for it to, like... Because our world adapts to the kind of situations we're facing. If you have tornadoes that happen in an active area, you build a system that's meant to deal with the fact that tornadoes are going to happen in this specific area. But in a superhero world, it's always a weird thing to me. Pedro played a better Reed Richards, which his mind is his greatest power. Lone played a better Mr. Fantastic. I won't argue with that necessarily, but I mean, to me, Reed is Mr. Fantastic. I don't really separate the two. It won't beat the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. It already has. It already has. I know people like to talk about that Fantastic Four, the Roger... Guys, for all the people that talk about that movie, have you actually sat down and watched that movie? That movie is awful. I'm not kidding. It looks bad. It's a level of 90s cheese that's hard to fathom. The dialogue is pretty awful. Most of the writing is pretty awful. Like, most of the voice acting in general is kind of bad and cringy. It looks bad even for its time because they were never meant to release the movie, so it looks like some, like, theater school's art project or something. Dude, if that's the movie you're talking about, like, it's not wonderful. The Jada Alpha stuff they showed had updated joints, more like imports with the multi-piece elbows, knees. They look like a serious step up. I don't know if that's exactly what was going on. I almost feel like they changed the designs, because you're looking at things like Scooby-Doo and whatnot that are coming out. They're not built like the Street Fighter figures. They're built with a different engineering. And you're looking at the Street Fighter 2 figures that have a different engineering than the Street Fighter Alpha figures. It seems like they are purposely doing specific engineering tactics and designs for every single figure line that they do, instead of, like, where you can very much see crossover in things like Marvel Legends, just to keep hitting on them, or, you know what, DC Multiverse as opposed to DC Direct. They're the exact same figures. Like, they're the same figures. You know they're McFarlane figures. He's just like, let's just put this over here and call it DC Direct. Why? Oh, this one is DC Digital. Why? There's no difference. They're all the same figures. But like, when you're looking at things like Jada, they're not using the same engineering techniques for Mega Man, or the same engineering designs for Alpha, or the same engineering designs for Scooby-Doo, or the same. Like, this is very interesting. I've never seen a toy company do like this before. The cast of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four was done dirty, though it was wholesome to see them at the premiere of First Steps. How did you like the new Spider-Man suit for the new movie with Tom Holland? I like it. I don't know what to expect of it yet, but I think that it looks good. I still would argue that the closest to comic book and best representation of the Spider-Man suit we have ever got was Amazing 2, but I need to see this suit in action. It looks like so far Conan is winning. Gave the Red Ranger a BFG. He got that minigun. Also, Bill, keep an eye out. There is some Marvel Legends characters. There's some Marvel Legends characters are getting reissues. Rhino, J. Jonah Jameson, Sandman, Retro Ghost Rider, Retro Doctor Doom. So I have a Doctor Doom, and I'm more than pleased with him. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I wish that they would have released a single card of the one with the actual cloth capes, but that's fine. The one that I have, I don't feel like I'm upgrading anytime soon. A Sandman would be cool. I don't have a Sandman. A J. Jonah Jameson would absolutely be cool. I would love to have J. Jonah Jameson. A Rhino? I don't have a Rhino. That would be cool. But when it comes to Spider-Man, I'm a bit of a putz, okay? You could sell me almost the entire Spider-Man line. I will be interested. I'll fully admit it. Did you see how bad Donatello's face is in the new six-pack they redid by Playmates? I think it was. No. I saw that they were doing that six-pack, though, and it kind of made me feel like now is not the time just to change the skin of the turtles. Now was the time to kind of fix the articulation, because I don't think the articulation is up to what people were wanting it to be. And looks like we're at the 10 minutes, so Conan won that. I thought, like, I was hoping that the Playmates, and look, just copy He-Man. I don't care. Copy He-Man. Copy it. Take the Motu design. Just steal it. Why not? 20 other toy lines are doing it right now. Just steal the design and update the original Ninja Turtles with modern articulation. Not this weird leg thing like this. I talked about those turtles. I have them. They're right up there. They're like right there. And like, I did not think that they pulled off what they needed to pull off. Like, I don't think it worked. Which makes me not want this new six-pack. If I see it in the wild, and if it triggers a nostalgia moment for me, sure, maybe. But it will really have to trigger me. It will have to make me say, oh, these are better than the ones on the shelf, and then I would get rid of the ones on the shelf. But I would be very surprised. Yikes, that Storm experience sounds awful. I'm pretty lucky. There's a shop I visit that has a lot of them, keeps up with new releases. Really? We don't have anything like that. Storm is something you buy online or you never get it. There were maybe 5 G.I. Joes that showed up at one Walmart down here, and that was it. Like, that was it. I've never seen it other than that. For context, what Jake and LOS were saying about the Red Ranger, in the Fortnite trailer, you could see that Jason doing front flips and kicking baddies while blasting a massive minigun. I mean, they have to give him something, right? It's Fortnite. I can't believe Johnny Storm isn't the original Human Torch. I mean, he's not. But most people either A, don't know that, or B, don't care at all. Fantastic Four City was kind of like Gotham. Modern, future, technology, but everybody still dresses and acts like the 50s. You know what? That's good. That's a good way to explain it. I like that. That works for me quite a bit, actually, because that makes perfect sense. You're right. It's a very stylized idea where just like Batman is kind of modern tech that looks retro, and then everybody never really grew out of the fashion trends of the 50s, that's kind of what this new Fantastic Four universe is. And what they do with it from there is going to be very interesting. Yes, and I think so too. I think the time frame as to when they're taking place, because it could be that their universe is just influenced differently by different stylized choices that make them look kind of 60s, but like it's really still like, it's 2025. But it's in their universe, that's not the way their style adjusted, so their world kind of looks like that. Who knows? It's very ambiguous. I don't remember being given a date or seeing anything on any screen that made me say, oh, it's a present day or it's this or that. It was kind of, like you said, yeah. It's the only accurate Doctor Doom. I meant portrayal-wise, Pedro was more believable as Reed Richards. Okay. Lone was a better portrayal of Mr. Fantastic Powers. Though that could change in a sequel or Avengers Doomsday. Okay, okay. I get that. Yeah, that makes sense now. Yes. Which Superman movie was the one Supes had a throwable Frisbee Superman logo? Well, first off, it wasn't a Frisbee, and second, it was Superman 2, specifically the Lester cut. Yes. How many Fantastic Four movies are there? This one and Fan Four Stick and what else? I've not seen many others. Wow. There is a Fantastic Four, which is terrible and was never actually meant to be released, and you can go watch it. You can literally watch it on YouTube if you would like to. I'm pretty sure it's the Roger Corby ones that they're talking about. Then there were two Fantastic Four movies done by Fox that feel like they plop right into the Spider-Man universe. They take themselves just seriously enough while being just detached and campy enough that they feel like they sit in a Sam Raimi universe, which would have been completely awesome. And at the same time, you also feel like X-Men could be taking place in the same universe. I feel like had we got it at the right time and the ideas had been correct, Fox could have done its own universe with the Fantastic Four and things like that. They did not do so, but I feel like they could have. I feel like the movies worked. Then there was, of course, Fan Four Stick, which is just the worst one they've ever done, and this new one. There have been a version of Fantastic Four movie with every decade for 40 years. There's three. There's the unofficial released Roger Corman, Fantastic Four, the 2005 Fantastic Four, and the Rise of the Silver Surfer. 90s Corman, 2000s Fox, 2010 Fan Four Stick, and 2020's MCU. Yeah, okay, so yeah, they got you covered with all the information. Of course, I really didn't even have to explain it. They got it. And I don't know. I actually think that did I say Corman? I don't remember. I think I said it. I think maybe I might have messed his name up. I'll know when I edit. Rumor is Henry Cavill is the new DCU Batman. Thoughts? I wouldn't be against it. That's my thoughts. If something like that happened, I wouldn't be against it. And I feel like he would play up differently against Corn Sweat, and I think that would work very well. I wouldn't hate it. I don't know that I would take to it really fast. Like, it would be one of those things where I'd have to remove myself and say, okay, let this play out like this. I don't know if this is very much just a rumor at this point. And like what I'm saying right here, I would have to let this play out. He would have to impress me. Not that he hasn't impressed me in the past. He has. but he doesn't feel right. But then again, I've seen other characters, or rather other people play characters, where they announce them and they go, this guy's going to play this guy. And I go, ooh, I don't think I like that at all. That's a bad idea. And then they actually do it, and I go, oh crap, I was wrong. This is really good. Hear me out. Scott Eastwood as Gun Batman. Not terrible. Well, let's do the first one, shall we? Conan the Barbarian Super 7. When I saw this was coming out, I'd heard that this was a reissue. I'd heard that it already came out and that this was basically a reissue. I can't argue that point. I don't know enough about Super 7 to say yes or no. What I will say is that if this is a reissue, they sure took their sweet time with it. Like in terms of getting it back out there. If it is not just a reissue, and this is more of an actual figure released current, maybe that they've already had a couple Conans, but this is his own thing on top of those Conans, I don't know. And I don't know which one to argue. I just know that they showed that they were doing Conan and they were doing King Cole. And I said, I have my issues with Super 7. That is undeniable. And I've never lied about them. But if you're going to do Conan the Barbarian, and you're going to do it in a decent scale, and you're going to do it with fair modern articulation, well, you have my attention. Let's go ahead and start by calling them out. See that Conan in there? Let's look at his hair. Okay. I can't prove this, but I don't think that Conan is this Conan. If we call out McFarlane over and over and over again for it, we have to say something about Super 7. This looks more spot on. That doesn't. That seems like a different art style Conan. His hair is longer. He no longer has the necklace, which that puts him a little older, because I remember the necklace when we were starting out, when he was younger. Right after losing the helmet that he was wearing in the comic books, he was still wearing the necklace, and he wore the necklace for a while before he lost the necklace. And so you're looking at the midlife Conan, I think. Maybe, arguably, this could be an amalgamation of just comic book Conan, and they took what they thought were the best possible things that they could get for each one, and they put it all together and made a Conan the Barbarian. I wouldn't argue that. That's fine. I'm more than okay with that. I would even completely understand that. So they give you the necklace, and they're like, if you want him to be this part of his life or whatever, you can choose what you want to do here. You can give him the axe, you can give him the sword, you can give him the sheath, you can do what you want to do. Make your Conan. Okay, but I'm thinking, looking at him, I'm thinking this is Amra Conan. I can't prove that. I don't have any guarantees. I can't compare him to every single piece of art that Big Steve ever did. But I have a feeling, looking at him, this feels like Amra. That's what I'm guessing. If I have to put this to an era of Conan, this is Amra Conan. That's my guess. Best possible guess. I don't know. I don't know. I do know, looking at the back, that I kind of wish that Super 7 was a company that played more like Mattel. When Mattel shows you stuff on the back, right? When they go, here's a bunch of stuff. You can look at that stuff and you can get a pretty good hint as to what's coming down the line. Not with this. First off my head, I can't place her. I have no idea who it is. This could be a Conan damsel. One of the random girls. I know this looks very much like it was taken from some book. What book? I'm not going to claim to know that off the top of my head. I see the mirror. I know a couple of mirrors in Conan the Barbarian, so I'm still not even locking that down as to what relic that is. I don't know her. She doesn't proc in my mind as one that I should automatically know. It could just be a random Conan damsel. Are we going to get her in Super 7? I doubt it. This guy back here, random Conan cultist guy. Like, maybe that is... It could be from the storyline where they stole the living Tarim. And if that's possible, then that was the wizard that was causing all that caused the big fight and whatnot, where Conan gets drafted into the Tarim Empire and whatnot, and then ends up on the other side of the conflict due to circumstances, and then ends up making a mortal enemy, basically a lifelong enemy of, is his name Yezdegerd? I could be mispronouncing that horrifically, but I'm thinking something like that. Is it Yezdegerd? I can't remember 100%. I'm not going to claim to be an expert. I'm going to claim to love Conan the Barbarian and know a lot about it and claim to have read a lot of it. But that doesn't mean this doesn't blur together when you're talking about 30 years worth of content or more that I've already read. You get the idea. So I don't even think that's this guy. This has me lost. And this doesn't feel like this. And that's pretty much what I'm saying here, is that I don't think we're going to get any of this. That's kind of a shame, because I would definitely like to see them continue a giant Conan line where I could buy a bunch of Conan stuff. I would love that. Like, I'd get Conan from different parts of his life. I could get Baylit. I could get different things like that. That would be fantastic. I would absolutely love that. But is it going to happen? I seriously doubt it. And I don't think there's any kinds of plans regardless of the picture that they chose. I just don't think they're that kind. I don't think they're that serious about this license. Shame, in all honesty, because I would love to see what an Ultimates line for Conan the Barbarian could do long term if it just kept pulling in possibilities. But I would also say that at a business aspect, most people will not know enough of the small individual characters of the Conan universe to buy most of them. Heck, most people still reference the movie as if Conan is supposed to be fighting Thulsa Doom. He's not. He's not. He doesn't fight Thulsa Doom, not the way that people seem to think he does. His specific enemy was Toth Amon. Like, it was that was the sorcerer that was most wired into the comic books as his enemy, not Thulsa Doom. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Thulsa Doom was kind of like a King Cole problem. I think so. So, do I believe that there would be enough buying power if they extended a line like Conan and made a whole bunch of characters? I don't. I think they're probably making the right choice, giving us an amalgamation Conan and saying, there's a Conan the Barbarian, do you want it? Everybody knows Conan, let's do it. That probably makes the most sense. I think they're even taking a chance with King Cole. In fact, I would wonder if I went online right now if I could still just easily buy him. And I would wonder if he's going to end up going on sale. Because most people, even knowing Conan the Barbarian, if you're a casual fan, I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm saying people get in where they get in. And if you like things like Conan movies, if you like things like you've read a couple Conan things here and there, maybe you've even kind of ran through the comic books. You like the original Marvel years. That doesn't necessarily mean that you would even know who Cole is. Not realistically. He would appear in a couple of books here and there through circumstance, and he would be brought up as a big deal to like massive Conan fans, and to you it would be like an old king that showed up in a book and it was kind of cool, and then you moved on with your life and went to the next weekly Conan adventure or whatever. I don't know how he's gonna sell. That's the problem with building a Conan the Barbarian line. I would love to see it. The reality of it seems very scarce to me. But we are getting more and more and more Conan as we go. This has been a tremendous couple of years for getting Conan possibilities. In fact, I already have another Conan sitting down on the floor right now waiting for Unbox. So, let's open this guy and see how Super 7 did with Conan the Barbarian. Okay. So, we of course have Conan right here. He's not a super attractive mug, and he shouldn't be, I would argue. That's not what Conan is. He's not a super hyper, like, handsome guy. He's a guy from a universe, from a time when looking pretty wasn't going to get you too much. He's not a civilized dude. He's rough around the edges. He's kind of an ugly mugger. Not that there's not a ruggedness to Conan. He could be attractive in a certain sense, but he's never been interested or worried about it, is what I'm saying. And so having this kind of face and whatnot really kind of works for him. I really think he's just kind of mean mugging, and I think it works really well. I like the black hair. I know that even the image, like when you see Conan in the original Marvel comics, he tends to kind of have like blue hair. That's not blue, and I don't expect the toys to do that. That's very much one of the things that we've seen over the years in comic books, where like black hair or black things will have like blue, so that you can kind of get the idea that that's where the light is hitting in comic books and whatnot. That's what that is. He doesn't have blue hair. I don't know. I've even heard some people say that he has blue hair. Like, he doesn't. That's not a thing. It's never, ever, ever been a thing. He's not an anime character. It's not a thing. I like this. This works very well for him. It has a lot of give, which is good. I like the big boots. These are very much comic book boots with the heavy cuffs. Decent here. arm pieces. I like that gold band, and I like that it's actually a part of the arm. This isn't something that we're going to take off. I kind of appreciate that sometimes. Sometimes extra armor pieces or whatever that are going to fall off or lose that tightness over time and then kind of fall off the arm and then kind of roll all over the place. I don't need that aggravation sometimes. Sometimes I want my Conan to stay exactly the way my Conan is, like this, forever, and I'll be happy with it. I like all the damage. Conan is a rough character. He doesn't need to be pretty. That makes no sense. He doesn't even necessarily need to look heroic. He needs to look barbaric. And adding battle damage, like all the scars, they're not etched in, they're painted, but they get the effect. This is a dude that has seen combat. He has lived that life, okay? We are Super 7, so we're looking at single joint elbows. Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. We'll discuss that soon, actually. Not too terrible. That's him looking down. It's not great. That's him looking up. These figures are very reminiscent to, like, Motu Classics. Most of the time, I don't care for figures with this body sculpt. Conan kind of gets a pass, but most other figures, I would wait till something else came out that caught my attention, if I'm being perfectly honest. That's just the way that it is for me. I would normally go out of my way for other body sculpts. Like this, there's something cartoony about him. It's meant to be comic book Conan. That kind of gives him some leeway. But like, I've never been a fan of like this hard cut right here. Like, I hate that. Look at that. He has like a butt on his back. Like, because that's the way that these were designed. And look at this. Look at this level of bend we have. But it's like a hard snap. I mean, you heard it, right? Like, oh, there it is. Now that it's snapped out, it's not doing it again. But there we go. Like, that's... Do them sit-ups, Conan. Like, that is all we're going to get out of the arm. We do go all the way around. We will T-pose for what it's worth, though. So we got that going for us. He can sidekick, though I don't see why Conan is throwing sidekicks. We also have the single joint knees, and we have decent movement on the ankles with a rock on both edges. He has more than enough movement if you compare him to figures like I said. If you want to compare him inside of a line like Motu Classics, if you want to compare him inside of some other lines comparable to that, he will do just fine. That's a Super 7 thing. They don't build figures with massive movement. It's not a thing. They don't do it. We have a regular Solon face, and we have this angry face for when he's getting super serious, which is pretty cool. Both of these are pretty decent faces, decent wash, really hard. They got like the tired, broken-in eyes, whatnot, with the shadow on them. I'm fine with that. I think that it works. I think that it's cool. We have his necklace right here, which is a hanging artifact, so we can pull the neck, simple ball joint. We're not surprising anybody. We're not like, you know, we're not changing the world here, but there it is. That's fine. His hair does tend to push it up, though, so like there it's laying on his chest. Now, if he kind of looks up, do you see that's... So one could also argue that in this case, this necklace, unless this hair was going to get out of his way, because you got to be real careful about it, head placement all the time. Like, look, now it's like lifting off the chest. That's going to make the necklace a tough sell. Every time you move his head, you've got to rearrange the necklace so that it kind of looks like, see, because it catches on the hair. That is a bit of a problem, which is comparable to the kind of thing where I said, I like that this is built into the arm as a part of the actual sculpt. It almost makes me wish that they would have just built the necklace into him, but not building the necklace into him allows me to take the necklace off, and then he's just bare chest Conan, and I can live with that. So I don't think that's too big of a deal. When I need a very specific shot with him having the necklace, I can get it. If the necklace is a pain, I can remove it. That's fine. We have a belt here, and it's just a snap system. There's just a button in there, and we unbutton it, and we put it on his side here, which should be fine. We have a sword, which is a pretty good one, to be fair. We have an axe, which is a pretty good one. We have 2 gripping hands. And we have 2, I call them expression hands. Like the open hands, I call them expression hands. And for what it's worth, it came with this pretty cool background. Not that I'm going to do anything with it. I'm going to throw it away. It's packaging to me. But yeah. That's Conan. The only thing I really want to see is I want to be able to test. We're going to do it with this one right here. I want to test this sword. Your hand going to give me problems? No. Okay. We have a sword. We have Conan. We have a sword. We're going to open the other hand. And we're going to test some things. So there we go. Oh, okay. See, his belt is a little bit of a pain. The loincloth is a little bit of a pain. It does have a lot of give, but I mean, it is kind of in his way. So we want him to slash out. We can kind of get that. We can put this hand over like this and get him slashing across. We can get him kind of like this, where he's coming down at somebody. That's not terrible. We can also kind of create something like this, which works pretty well for him, which is pretty cool. I don't hate that idea. He poses enough that we're going to get something out of him, and we're going to make it work. He is not the best Conan I have ever seen. It's not a thing. So far, probably the best Conan on my shelf. Might arguably be my King Conan Mezco. But he has a major flaw as well. And when I do the Conan collection video, where I say, you know, what is the best Conan on my shelf currently, I will be talking about his one big problem. And it is a big problem. I'm just going to put it out there. When we get to it, we get to it. But because I want to see one last thing, this is Super 7 Conan. This is the Loose Collector Red Sonja. And they would work wonderfully together. She would be the star of the show in terms of articulation, movement, and design, I think. But he does look like he fits. I don't think that these two look so removed that you can't put them together and have them work. Okay, that's good. The Epic Hacks Sonja, which has grown on me, actually. Every time I use her, I get a little more appreciation for what they did with this figure. She looks like this next to him. And I've also discussed this. I like the fact that she's a redhead and they made her pale. I like that. I don't mind a tanner Red Sonja. I do think that it also makes sense because we've seen it in the books many, many, many times. But I really like when like the redheads have that pale skin. That it works. It makes sense to me. She's redhead. This feels right in a lot of different ways. Her frame is small, so she stands next to him pretty well. That's her literally like literally standing on his feet. So depending on the level of Red Sonja that you want, in terms of how big or small you want Red Sonja to be, he goes pretty well with both of them. And then you could figure out which one you would actually like if you're going to set up some action shots and stuff like that. Pretty decent Conan. I will say this. He is a $60 figure. He's a Super 7 figure. He's $60, $65 in some cases, $70 if you're including shipping and handling and things of that nature. That is a lot. Super 7 often feels overpriced to me. And in this case, Conan kind of falls in the overpriced. He feels like an old figure. He feels like he came from classics. I've talked about that era of figures. I'm not a fan of that era of figures. I did not like DC Classics. I did not like Motu Classics. I did not buy figures from this era because I didn't like the way figures were made in this era. He falls into that design factor. He will never be my favorite Conan. It will never, ever, ever happen. And at this price, on a personal level, he is overpriced. That being said, if you want a decently solid Conan for your shelf, and you don't collect too often, and you just want a Conan, he's good. You would do fine snatching up this Conan. You would do pictures with him. He would mix well with a lot of your figures. If you already have figures of this design, he will fit right in. And I don't think you'd be doing yourself a bad thing. But I like to be honest about it. While I will justify this, and I will be happy to put a Conan on my shelf, I will also be truthful in saying that he will probably never be my favorite Conan. And he is overpriced. If you can live with those two things, he is a good figure for what he is. Let me put these here. And let me set up for the next thing, and then I will go to the comments. So, let's do that. That. There. All right. We have reason I know it's false because James Gunn went over his process of casting. He doesn't cast until a script is finished. No script, no casting. That's his rule. I would agree with that. I think Alan Ritchson should play Batman. I just want the DCU to have the Batman. You know, that random Batman movie with that weird Riddler that was not like the Riddler. I like that Batsy. I know this is going to surprise some people. I don't know if I like that movie. I know, because I did. I'm not kidding. I liked that movie a lot. When I first seen it, I liked it a lot. And I don't know if the pacing in that movie is just trash, or if it would have done better as a series, or what. But every time I watch it, it seems to get more difficult to watch. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's something about I already know the mystery, so there's nothing to discover and there's nothing exactly happening in the backgrounds that I can watch for context or anything. Like, I watch it and I'm like, okay, this is really good. Like the first time I watched it, I mean, I was all in. I thought this movie was fantastic. Then I watched it a second time and I already knew everything. So I was kind of watching backgrounds and trying to look for context clues. Then I watched it again and it felt long. Like I'm halfway through the movie and I'm like, dang. When's the part with the Batmobile chase or something? Like we are standing in dark alleys talking for long periods of time. Like we're not accomplishing anything. Like it just, I get the kind of Batman he's playing, but then he's also just like, he has the personality of like a fence post. Like everything he says, every time he talks, whether he's Bruce Wayne or Batman, is just very monotone and like, I don't know. It's hard to sit through more than like twice. And it really bothers me, and it makes me wonder if maybe I don't like the movie. Like maybe once the hype of it died down, it doesn't hit the same way, and maybe it affects me. I don't know for sure. Like, I feel like I need to see it again and really try. Maybe watch the Penguin series and see if maybe that reinvigorates that universe for me. I don't know. Maybe if it had a second movie that kind of reinvigorated the whole universe, so like all of it felt like a bigger thing. Like, I can watch Batman Begins 20 times in a row. I can watch all the Christopher Nolan movies over and over and over again. Like, I think those movies are fantastic. They're done unbelievably well. Sure, there are things I laugh about with them, but like they're good movies. I don't know if the Batman is. Like, I really have trouble with myself about it. The script for Batman has been in writing. Alan Ritchson is too big. That guy is a literal giant. Now, I don't see him as Batman. I see him more as Eddie Brock Venom in the MCU. I like that. That looks more like Thundar than Conan to me. Looks more like Thundar. It's been a while since I've seen Thundar. Let me do something. Let me do this. Good. No. I get where you're... No. I can't... On the face. I mean, depending on what... I mean... You might not be too far off. If they gave him this top part... You probably could. You could probably easily turn him into Thundar. That's not a bad catch, actually, now that you've said that. He kind of looks like Thundar the Barbarian. That Mezco King Conan is my pick for best Conan figure. I'm sorry, but I can't get behind Super 7 at these prices. This Conan looks like a fancy Motu figure, but with less detail somehow. And yeah, that is a problem. I've had a continual problem with Super 7. It's part of the reason why I've always been interested in Thundercat figures, but have no desire to buy them from the people that currently make them. Looking at the prices, especially on Big Bad Toy Store, yikes. I don't think I could ever see myself jumping into Super 7 at all. Too rich for my blood. It's an expensive line. Like, all of it is an expensive line. I was going to say $60 for that. That's a scam straight up. I collect mostly Mafex and Mezco. I'm used to spending too much money, but Super 7 really doesn't seem to try for your money anymore. Like, there are things that they've caught my attention with. I loved the Ultimates Ninja Turtles. I thought those were fantastic. I had to have them. But most of the time, Super 7 doesn't hit right for me. And it keeps me out of it. Like, and here's another one. You want to see something that's about ridiculous? Go look up I don't know her name. Cheetah, whatever. From Thundercats. I don't know the Thundercats names yet. I've still not actually watched that show. My only experience with them is I saw one comic book crossover. But that person is known for running. Running. Go look at her. Go look at the way they did her legs, her knees, her hands, her middle torso. She can't hit the running pose. She can't do it. You have a cheetah-type character from Thundercats whose main thing is to run. She can't run. That's not okay at $60. It's not okay. It's time to rethink your design factors. That looks like a $5 toy I'd get at a park alongside bootleg Hot Wheels. I can't say that. That's no way. Have you seen the TMNT Godzilla crossover figures? I have not seen them. Oh, wait. No. I did see them. And while I'm not going to be jumping on board, they're stupid fun. I kind of dig them. Only thing I bought super expensive was the Mafex Magneto. That's my all-time favorite Magneto. I saw that Mafex Magneto, and he is pretty sick. My question for that Mafex Magneto, because you would be able to answer this, Cyber. So I'm going to ask it directly to you. If you set him next to X-Men from Marvel Legends, because that is the most accessible Marvel Comics line that we can possibly buy, does he scale well? Or like most other Mafex, does he scale small? Because I've noticed that their 1/12 is small. Like I had a Superman from them, and he felt tiny compared to everybody else around him, and I got rid of him because it made me really uncomfortable that my Superman was like a strange midget. I didn't like that. And it makes me worry that Magneto, while being very cool, because I've seen him, if he's small and he looks like other X-Men are like way taller than him or whatever, that he would look awkward on my shelf and I would be wasting my money to pick him up. Because I thought about buying the Mafex Psylocke originally. That was before they did this, and now I'm more than pleased. But you get the idea. I thought about that originally. Mafex Magneto is amazing. Best mag out there. Absolutely 100%. And ever since that one, I haven't been able to look at Magneto figures the same way again, which is high praise. I still got to watch The Batman. Getting the in-art bail made me rewatch that trilogy, and I'm dead set on finally watching Battison. Oh, Motu Origins just went up, Frazetta, and Marvel Legends are tied. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna anger too many people here, but I'll say it anyway. Hot take: I did not care for the Christian Batman movies, Christian Bale Batman movies. I legit was sleeping at the cinemas each release day of the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't know how. We have very, very different tastes in movies, because that might be, in fact, no, it's not even a question. That's the best series of Batman movies consistent. For me. Everybody likes stuff differently, and everybody gets hit different ways with the things that they're into. Art is subjective. I can't tell you that you're wrong, and I can't be mad at you, but I can tell you that for me, consistently, if I'm going to sit down and watch a single Batman universe, it's Christian Bale all the way. 1, 2, 3, I can watch all three of them. I'll enjoy all three of them. I'll love all three of them. I cannot do that with the original Batman. I cannot do that with the current Batman. I love Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. I absolutely was bored with The Dark Knight Rises. I liked The Dark Knight Rises because of the way it showed the ugliness of people afraid. I really liked that no man's land type of Gotham situation. My favorite Batman movie? The Michael Keaton one. There are two of them. You can't say one. My favorite live action Batman, funnily enough, Adam West. When you say live action, I mean, if you're talking about series, there's not a lot to pick from, man. Chitara. Thank you. People hate the Batman and Robin movie. I died laughing with it. It was a barrel of fun. My family said I turned into the Joker when watching it. It is a campy movie. If you're willing not to take it seriously, it can be a fun movie. It's not unreasonable. Mafex Magneto is roughly the same height as Legends Magneto, so too small. Mafex Magneto is roughly the same height as Legends Magneto. I didn't hate that 97 Magneto that I got. Does he run small? Do you think that he ran small? Maybe people do. Maybe people think that he's small. To answer your question, Bill, he works if you have him on the flight stand, because you have him in imposing ways. But if you stand him next to, say, Cyclops, he's small and not accurate. Okay. But you can't, because of the kind of character he is, you can manipulate him to work with other figures, and it's not really that big of a deal. I can vibe with that. That's cool. I have him on the flight stand flying while looking over the other members. In the Brotherhood Mutants display, he looks amazing when posed. Standing just next to the others, he is small. Okay. I just didn't like Bale's voice. Absolutely. I didn't say those movies were perfect. They have flaws. His voice is very stupid. Where are the drugs? Swear to me! My favorite Batman is Kevin Conroy. I mean, I won't argue that. Dude had lasagnas in every drawer of the tumbler. Oh! Okay. By Michael Keaton movie, I meant the OG 1989. I like the Joker more than Batman, more than Bats in that movie, but I still love Batman there. The Devil in the Moonlight quote still gives me chills, but will say Heath Ledger is the best Joker. Okay. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did the tiebreaker just tie? Like, are we about to tie the tiebreaker? If so, I guess I'm just going to do one from each. This is kind of wild. I didn't expect that, actually. While we got 8 people voting, looks like there's... One of my notifications says I have 10 people watching. One of my notifications says I have 8 people watching. Now both notifications says there are 10 people watching. The way YouTube handles this blows my mind. So... what's this? Nope. Mark Hamill is my favorite Joker voice-wise, but Jack Nicholson is my Joker. I grew up on the big screen, followed by Heath Ledger. I liked Jack Nicholson originally, and now he feels goofy to me. Like I'm not afraid of him, and I feel like I should be when it comes to the Joker. And that kind of bugs me a little bit. And no, I do not think Jared Leto Joker is good. I'm not that much of a hot take man. Ledger's Joker was straight up lightning because Thomas Jane killed it as Dent, and it just gets swept under the rug because the Joker stole the movie. You need a Two-Face coin, Bill. Aaron Eckhart was Two-Face. For me, it says there's 7 people watching. Eckhart, no clue what that was about. Thomas Jane was punished. Okay. Look, I've never been a fan of Goofy Joker. I think he is, in my mind, he's a horrifying, sadistic serial killer. And that's not funny or goofy. To me, the Joker, the times the Joker has been the best is when he's not funny. He's funny to himself because life is a joke. And nobody else gets that joke but him, and that's horrifying. Because what it makes him capable of is horrifying. But I don't usually get a kick out of finding the Joker funny. I know that it happens, and I know that there are certain takes on the Joker where it works very well, but when I feel Joker is done the best, it's when I don't find him funny. Like, that's when I'm most taken by the Joker. We need a figure of the bum at the beginning of '89 that says, "The Bat!" The Bat! Seriously, guy? Goofy is half the character. I don't think so. Read the original comic books and see the Joker. He's not meant to be funny. You don't laugh with him at the things he does. And the comic books where he stands out the most, he also is not funny. You don't laugh at the jokes that he tells in The Killing Joke, or or Death in the Family, or Death of the Family. You don't find him funny. He's horrifying in the way that he finds it funny. Life is a joke, and he's the comedian. And everybody else doesn't get it. That is what works for me the most with the Joker. In a way, very much what they did with Heath Ledger. That Joker, while he is laughing, he is the one laughing. Everything that he is doing, he finds funny. He finds it as a social experiment. He finds it as life is a joke. And then at the same time, he's giving off very horrifying, in-depth analogies as to how he sees the world and how people will turn on you in a second. And that our social construct is something that we build up to lie to ourselves, but the second something goes wrong, we'll eat each other. That's very much, that is the Joker that speaks to me. He's scary. He's not funny. I don't laugh when the Heath Ledger Joker does things. I don't laugh when he tells a joke like at the start, when he says things like, no, I kill the bus driver. I'm very much with that other guy. What bus driver? Like, and then that guy dies. And that's the joke. But it's the joke for him, not for us. Like, that's my Joker. That's the way Joker feels to me. That's the way he should be handled personally. And I understand that people like him to be funny. As I've said many times on this channel, when it comes to art, art is subjective. And I can't tell you how to feel about a thing. I can only tell you how art affects me. When it hits me, and I go, that's right. I feel this. This is right. This is what I'm about. That's when it hits me. That's when the art speaks to me. When the art is Joker making jokes, that Joker doesn't stay in my mind. He does not have a lasting impact on me. He does nothing to me. He does nothing for me. I just kind of walk away and go, that's kind of funny. I like when he did that part or whatever. That's just the way that I feel about it. And like I said, art is subjective. The fact that he likes a good balance, that's because that's what speaks to him. That's what makes him feel like this is a thing for me. And it works because art is subjective. But if you're talking to me, the more jokes the Joker tells, the more I'm no longer interested in the Joker. Like, how come somebody hasn't just shot him yet? Like, horrifyingly happy. Nice balance. I think the closest to him being scary was when he's standing in the shadows and you only see that haunting bleached white face. You know something isn't right with the guy. But yes, he's goofy. Who is your favorite Joker? It's between Heath Ledger and the portrayal that we get to see in Under the Red Hood. I don't find him funny. Like, I find him horrifying. He finds himself funny. And while maybe some people have the sense of humor where they laugh at certain parts of that movie, Under the Red Hood, he's not really telling jokes. Like when he's sitting there and he's eating the potato chips. And then just out of nowhere, he snaps. And he's like, "May I have a glass of water, please?" And they give him the water and he breaks the glass and then he steps up real quick and he kills the 3 guys in the room. And then he's like... And at that point, everybody in the room is scared of him. This is not a guy you make a deal with. This is a horrifying decision you are making right now, Black Mask. It's not a good idea. You should have known right then to walk away from the situation. But you're in now. You made a decision that you needed the kind of firepower only the Joker would bring. And you made a decision to make a deal with somebody you shouldn't have been messing around with. You made that call. And you brought the Joker into that room. And you had 3 guys watching your back. And he killed all 3 of them in less than a second. And then he looks directly at you in the face and he says, because he accepts your job, he says, "I'm going to need some guys. But not these guys, because, well, they're kind of dead." That is him telling a joke. But in that moment, if you're really thinking about the situation, it's not funny. It's horrifying. And that is a perfect Joker to me. That joke is for Joker. It ain't for you. And when the joke is for you, it's the last joke you'll ever be a part of. Because the punchline doesn't walk out of the room. You will walk out of that room damaged or dead. And Black Mask walks out damaged. He knows this is already a bad idea. And then what ends up happening? He ends up in a tanker covered in gasoline with the rest of his men while the Joker is standing above him trying to light this lighter. And he's like, "Give me a second, I gotta kill these guys." Is that funny? Sure, in a psychotic way, but that's my Joker. When I think of the joke isn't for you. He's not the comic relief of the movie. He doesn't bring the levity. Every joke he tells is horrifying, and it should be. It's not a guy you make a deal with, unless you're willing to take a really, really nasty shot. Well, then maybe I'm a psycho. I don't know, because I always laugh with the Joker. Joe Pesci. How am I funny? Tell me. Tell me how I'm funny. I love that. Kind of similar thing with Deadpool. He was way better in the late 90s and early 2000s comics. Still a humorous character, but he also had a more serious side. Humor masks his mental illnesses, mental issues. Right. I tended to feel kind of the same way about him. I actually stopped liking Deadpool as he evolved into a complete continual joke line. That does nothing for me. People always get surprised when they're like, oh, are you gonna do Deadpool, or are you gonna like get the Deadpool figure? And I'm like, no, because I really don't like Deadpool in the way that they use him nowadays. He's just a continual fart joke monologue, and it just does nothing for me. It doesn't talk to me. It's not something that I like. It's not something I enjoy. I got nothing for it. Okay, let's set this up, because this one, so we are looking at there, that, really. Okay. There. Okay, let's see. And in The Dark Knight Rises, they eat each other, so Joker was right. Still think Willem Dafoe was the greatest missed opportunity to cast as a perfect Joker. Yeah, I've often wondered how he would have done that role. I really do. I think Heath Ledger was a funny Joker. Really? That kind of blows my mind. I didn't laugh at almost anything he did. Maybe I have like a higher praise of what I think. I don't know. Maybe I have more hopeful outlook on like humanity than I should or something. Because like to me, I wasn't laughing at almost anything Heath Ledger did. I was taking it for what it was. Horrifying. Agreed. Or Jim Carrey. I've seen Jim Carrey do some serious stuff, and maybe had he pulled it off properly, but I feel like they would have leaned into Jim Carrey and he would have just been a ridiculous Joker. And they would have been the one probably I would have hated the most, because he would have been nothing but jokes. In a universe like the Adam West Batman, Cesar Romero does just fine. Put Cesar Romero in any other continuity, and I have no time for that loon. If we have the Mask, we can have the Joker. No. The Mask even... No, I don't... When I think of the Mask, I kind of think sometimes to the comic books, and I know what you're talking about, but like, I don't want that kind of Jim Carrey as the Joker. I don't find that... He would annoy the crap out of me. Watch the number 24. Jim Carrey can play serious and unhinged. And if he played it that way, I'd be into that Joker. But not the Mask. I don't want Joker to be a Looney Tune. Dude, can we please get an R-rated Mask horror comedy movie like the original comic? Right? Right? Can we just go for it and do what it was originally meant to be? Just like Robin Williams as the Riddler could have worked. Yes, I think Robin Williams would have made a fantastic Riddler. I don't think Jim Carrey would have pulled off the Joker the way people seem to think he would. In that era, nobody wanted a serious Jim Carrey. We would have just... You've seen what he did with the Riddler. You've seen what he was with the Riddler. I mean, that would have been his Joker. That's not what I mean. It's not what I want, like, at all. No, no, I don't think so. I have to agree with Harrison here. Nah, Deadpool is definitely not the same anymore. When I grew up and Deadpool would show up in the comics, he did not feel the way he feels today. They have leaned into that joke side of Deadpool so hard that there is almost nothing left of what I grew up with. He does not feel the same. I could write a whole essay on it, but that takes days. Have you seen the Death in the Family cartoon? It explains on Batman Under the Red Hood. It expands on. I have not watched it yet, but I did see that there are extended scenes and whatnot that kind of play on that movie, so I do want to see it. It does look good. Yes, I saw that, which is why we are currently... Oh, my gosh. Now we're coming across the tie in this one. We have Mr. Fantastic and Black Widow currently matched on this one. Did you like Deadpool in Hulk versus Wolverine? No, I kind of still seen him as exactly what we've been talking about. When Deadpool is nothing but a continual funny guy, like what the comics and Ryan Reynolds has kind of made him 100% at this point, it just doesn't speak to me. It's too goofy. It's like what they did with Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn leaning into that goof side. I actually don't like Harley Quinn anymore. It doesn't do anything for me anymore. Deadpool was originally supposed to be a one-off villain, but because readers at the time liked him so much, he kept appearing for a while until a hiatus in the late 90s when he got his own series. Either you're more hopeful with humanity, or this whole chat is riddled with sadistic psychopaths, or maybe both. We never know. My problem with Deadpool is the stakes have gotten raised time after time until he's basically a walking fart joke, and simultaneously a multiverse Avenger level threat. He can't just be Deadpool. Jim Carrey is the that would be fantastic. That I would like to see. That right there, hands down, yes, Spaded, yes. Holy crap! That is perfect Jim Carrey casting. Oh my god. That is too good. You just nailed it. That's fantastic. I've seen so many people fan casting Jim Carrey as the Plastic Man. That would be good too, but now that Condiment Man, seeing Jim Carrey go to town on an actual superhero that could wreck him while he's squirting ketchup and mustard and like shooting a relish packet into somebody's eyes and like dancing around, and that little skinny guy with the two guns and the backpack, and oh my god, that's too perfect. That is too perfect. I absolutely love that. Is it bad that I like Jim Carrey as the Riddler? In the kind of movie that he was in, he did fine. Nobody was taking that movie seriously. Jim Carrey has always been my pick for Plastic Man. Jim Carrey as Plastic Man is literally perfect. Any word on Gunn doing the Atom? I don't know. Even the look is a perfect match in real life doppelganger. Bill, that would be fantastic. Say that again. Jim Carrey. Time to catch up, Batman. A relish in your defeat. See, I'm telling you, he would be too good. That's too good. Oh my gosh, what is happening with the votes are wild tonight. The people are not leaning into one side at all. They are very much getting. So we have a three-way tie right now with Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Widow. Oh my. We just cannot seem to win tonight. I have no idea why. This is wild. I could do that if you guys actually wanted that. I have something that I would pick. I have something that's been sitting in the background. I have 2 items on a Bill's choice, actually. The votes are leaning on to hell with Johnny. He deserves it for Dr. Doom on his wedding day. Is the new movie Fantastic Four figures? Is this the new movie Yes. Yes, I have the entire wave of the Fantastic Four movie figures. Yes, that's exactly what they are. And we are about to have a 3-way tie. Which will then end up doing another tiebreaker. So, hold on. So, we have bam. Okay, hear me out. Kevin from The Office as the ventriloquist. Why doesn't Reed have the white collar? I actually like that every single one of the Fantastic Four members have like slightly different costume designs. I thought that was really cool. My choice has always been Toby Jones for the ventriloquist. My favorite random one-off baddie from superhero stuff is the Music Master from the Brave and the Bold cartoon. Okay. That's kind of neat. That guy was based. I don't know why, but Jeff Dunham as the ventriloquist came to me. I've wondered about the ventriloquist and whether or not, if they ever did him, should they hire an actual ventriloquist to do it? Or would it just make more sense just to hire a really good actor and then just kind of crop in, of course, movie editing, you know? I have wondered that. If it would make more sense to find an authentic ventriloquist and then just make him kind of look the part. Or if you would just hire an actor and be like, we'll just fake it. We're going to cast Big Wheel. Can you imagine if Big Wheel showed up in one of these? Like, if the Big Wheel showed up in one of these superhero movies, people don't want to admit it, but Kevin Spacey is the best choice for the ventriloquist. Just look up his short film, The Ventriloquist, for proof of creepy puppet Spacey action. Okay. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I would have to look it up. I would have to look it up. I would be interested in doing it. Who would play the Vanisher? Holy crap. It kind of annoys me that I can easily get me and my friends to name so many Superman and Batman baddies, but nothing comes to mind for Wonder Woman or Flash aside from Reverse Flash. I get that could annoy you, but Superman and Batman tend to have... Superman has a decent rogues gallery. I'm going to call it decent. Batman has a phenomenal rogues gallery, one of the best ever. Comparable only with Spider-Man, I would argue. I think those are the 2 top-level rogues galleries that exist. And you could argue which one is better. But Wonder Woman, that's tough. I mean, you have Cheetah. You have Silver Swan, Dr. Poison. You have in some cases, sometimes you can bring up things like Zeus. Of course, you have Ares. You have big lady. Oh, thank you. Giganta. Of course, we have Circe and things like that. But like, how many people honestly know these characters I'm even naming? I mean, sure, maybe a couple comic book guys sitting here and talk about it. But, I mean, there's not a lot of people that are going to name Wonder Woman villains with any level of confidence. Like, it's just not going to happen. Not realistically. She doesn't have a great rogues gallery. Or at least, let me back that up. All rogues galleries have the possibility to be good. You need a consistent writer who can use them. You need a consistent writer that can use them. And I don't think Wonder Woman's ever had a solid comic book run that really showcases what her villains are capable of. And we've never had her in movies or anything that showcase what her villains are capable of and why they make sense or why they could work. So nobody's had a chance to latch on to them. And I think that's part of what's going on with that. While that may have worked in his career earlier, not now. Not with the controversy surrounding Kevin Spacey. Oh, okay. By the way, I'm not disagreeing with that statement you just made. So, or, no, that's fine. I guess this one is not a thing. So those for right now, because that's what I have sitting over here that I wouldn't have to get up and go get. Bam. Okay. Honestly, Batman and Spider-Man are the quintessential superheroes for me. Yes, even more than Superman. I mean, I'm not saying anything about that. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People tend to migrate towards a superhero that they like. I fully agree with you picking a superhero that you like, and that it doesn't have to be Superman. I don't know if there was a reason that you thought that I would push the Superman idea on you, or if that's just maybe you've given the indication Superman before and you want to say for sure he's not my favorite. Who would play the Vanisher? Bill. Dude, I'd love to play anything. They gave me any part to play, I'd love to play it. I'm not even going to pretend to know any Wonder Woman villains. And right, I wouldn't even blame you for not willing to try. She doesn't have a rogues gallery that people know. I know only Cheetah and Giganta. I would have loved to have got a Giganta out of McFarlane before it ended. I would have loved to have got one serious super villain that I could have used with my Wonder Woman. Cheetah would have been fine. Giganta would have been fine. Cersei would have been fine. I don't know if we got anything, because once again, she doesn't really have a rogues gallery that lends itself to anything. Nobody talks about her enemies. It's honestly kind of wild how Batman and Superman have some of the most iconic villains in history, and the rest of DC just kind of doesn't. I mean, you're right. You're right. It's kind of wild. It's like they split all the good ideas into like these two main characters, and then we're like, what do we do with this guy? And like, give him to the Flash. And they're like, okay, that's fine. Hey, we got this guy. Wonder Woman needs somebody to fight. Like, but then again, one could argue this could be personal. The Green Lanterns have some really solid bad guys. Like, they also could be argued as having some of the best bad guys in DC history. Not necessarily that they're always memorable, but some of the best in DC history. Speaking of, Bill, have you ever read the Just Imagine Stan Lee created the DC Universe books? I personally found them neat. Nice of Stan to add Latino representation with Wonder Woman. I have not read all of them or whatever, but I did see some of his concepts. I laughed at some and then found some of them kind of intriguing for what it was worth. But I've never actually sat down to read that. That version of Flash was garbage, though. I do like the black pro wrestler Batman, though. Fantastic Four, Doom, X-Men, Magneto, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Daredevil, Kingpin. That one's easy enough. Marvel spreads them around. Right, you feel like every Marvel character kind of has at least one or two that really define them that you're always looking forward to. You're always kind of looking forward to the fact that somebody my brain stopped working. You're always kind of looking for the idea that in Marvel books you have a Wolverine. There are a couple characters there you know he's going to encounter, and you're going to enjoy that. And like I said, just about everybody else. You know you have the Fantastic Four, you're looking forward to Doom, you're looking forward to Galactus, you're looking forward to Super Skrull, things of that nature. But like, we don't get that with a lot of DC. A lot of DC, strangely enough, seems to have people that like really work with these characters, and then the other characters are left to like wonder who they're going to deal with and whether or not they'll get good stories out of it. My dad was a comics super nerd and had no clue who Martian Manhunter was, even with pics. Is that a Superman villain? No, that's Brainiac. Who's Brainiac? Well, that doesn't sound like he was as much of a nerd as you think he was. What does the Flash fight a gorilla? What are we doing? I don't care if you're a gorilla. I get this whole idea a gorilla is scary, but like, the Flash could run up and punch that gorilla in the mouth 6,000 times. Just straight jabs at nearly the speed of light. Brrr, like a freaking Goku fight. And then back up, and that gorilla, regardless of all of its power, would just have mush face, and it's done. I don't care how fast or how smart the gorilla is. The Flash can move, think, and fight in nanoseconds. What can the gorilla really do? I thought Mr. Freeze was a Flash villain because I keep hearing your villains freeze the floor and you go flying, Barry. No, that's that Captain Cold. Have you seen the JSA Sandman figure, Bill? Yeah, he's kind of cool because he's extremely retro. Unless he is a Flash villain and I am just dumb. No, you're not. You're just you're right, but you're just not Right. There is a cold guy who's basically Mr. Freeze, if we just get down to the bare basics. But he's not Mr. Freeze. He's Captain Cold. Correction. A smart gorilla. And literally all of these Marvel arch nemesis show up in other character stories, but can never be fully removed from their arch nemesis. Lex Luthor ain't messing with Batman at all. Except every now and then, you will see a character that just finds its home with another. Like, Kingpin was a Spider-Man problem. Then when he got dropped in to deal with Daredevil, that just felt right, and it never went back the other way ever again. Not really. Really? She-Ra is about to win this. That surprises me. Okay. Get Flash to fight Gamera. At least that makes sense. Fast versus slow. The one villain I can't get behind is Killer Moth. What's he gonna do? Eat all my clothes. And even this, you're like, one Flash versus 100 gorillas then? That's the proper debate? I get your reference. But, even that, the Flash could see 100 gorillas coming at him and be like, oh no, boo! And the whole universe would slow down to nanoseconds. And he would just run and be like, bink, 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 to every gorilla. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 to each gorilla. Just and just go in a circle and then stand in the middle of all the gorillas as they just and fall down with paste face. They're done. Like, you can't get hit at that speed and not literally probably be dead. It did go back, Bill. Kingpin is now mostly just seen with Spidey, not Matt Murdock. Look at Spider-Verse or the Spider-Man PS4 games. I don't count those in terms of comic books and what feels classic to me. I believe that Kingpin deals with street-level bad guys and or street-level heroes. And since Spider-Man is more often a street-level hero, Spider-Man does encounter and deal with him, but that is still that's a Daredevil villain. Like, it's a Daredevil villain. I don't care. Michael Clark Duncan was a great Kingpin. I liked him. I agree. DC also does this thing where they throw an evil version at their main character, Bizarro, Reverse Flash, etc. You might be able to argue that that's kind of true with Marvel to an extent. There's like a Dark Archer. There's a Yellow Lantern. I mean, there's Venom. Wolverine has his own son. Like, you kind of see the mere bad guy in Marvel quite a bit, too. Teen Titans Killer Moth is literally just Kamen Rider. Who's threatening the other one is... That's true. For instance, Sabretooth first started off as a villain of Iron Fist, then Spider-Man. He was getting his butt kicked by those heroes. Then he found himself paired with Wolverine. And yeah, the rest is history. Like, that's where he belongs now. I mean, Marvel does it too. Yeah. But I would say for this, I think what we've been talking about, the problem is that DC doesn't like to, like, shift their guys around. Like, you take a bad guy and you give him to Batman. And he just stays there. Like, he just stays there, like, forever. He doesn't, like, get out and, like, go to Star City or Coast City or whatever and, like, try to rebuild an empire or do something there. Like, that's not what happens. And, like, Superman, the same thing. Like, he fights Parasite. And he fights Parasite. And then he fights Parasite. And then he fights Parasite. Or, like, he always fights Metallo. Wouldn't it be cool if Metallo ended up as a bad guy opposing, say, Cyborg? because they're literally both kind of cyborgs, and then they could play off an aspect, almost like a mirror. Somebody made these choices, somebody like, but they don't really do that. They don't move their character bad guys around and see where they go. They just kind of go, that's a Wonder Woman villain. Okay. So what if she was to fight? No, that's a Wonder Woman villain. Oh, well, okay, never mind then. Catman. Isn't Sabretooth basically evil Wolverine? No. I mean, yes, but no. His son is evil Wolverine. Dakin or whatever. I mean, what would the Joker do to Superman? Same with Luthor to Batman. Joker's just a guy. Luthor is another businessman who Bruce can buy out. I would say that the Joker, indicating exactly what I just got done telling you I feel the Joker works best as, if the Joker ends up in Metropolis and Superman has to deal with him, he has to figure out where the Joker is going to be, what the Joker is doing, and Superman's not a detective, and Superman cannot reason with the Joker. A lot of Superman villains, he will sometimes try to reason with them, change them, give them a chance, offer them hope. That's not something you can get with the Joker. If the Joker came up against Wonder Woman and was killing people in the city, and she came in contact with him, she can stop him easily physically. That's fair. You're not going to get a superhuman fighting the Joker and it like works. But you also have interesting, intriguing differences where, like, the lasso forcing the Joker to tell the truth or experience empathy won't work because it doesn't. He doesn't have that capacity, and that could be interesting in its own right, if nothing else, just for a single story. But we never really see it. Like with Marvel, every street-level hero will eventually butt up against the Kingpin and usually facilitates a meeting with Daredevil. Was the whole Wolverine and Sabretooth was the whole Sabretooth Wolverine brothers thing only in the movies? I feel like I've read a couple comic books where they refer like that, but I don't seem to remember it being a hard focus in any comics necessarily. Sabretooth is just as complex as Wolverine. They both have various backgrounds and stories that have been altered and retconned over the years. They have history, but it's always told differently. And that's kind of where I'm sitting with it as well. And She-Ra won, surprisingly enough. So, let's knock her out. She-Ra. Yeah, this is She-Ra. This is the She-Ra that came from the Walmart Collector's Con. I got this. Walmart Collector's Con was a pain. I don't know if this one was just bad. I don't really know. I haven't been involved with them very often. Sometimes I literally skip them and just pick up the toys that I wanted a couple months later. Because most of the time the collector's cons do not have like hard exclusives that I'm not going to see again. It's not a problem. This time, I jumped in. I bought a Spider-Man. The 1970s TV Spider-Man. I thought that was really cool that they were even doing that. I still don't have him. I still don't have a notice that I'm going to get him. Okay. Maybe he's just not out yet. That's fine. I ordered Faker. They got a hold of me last week, sent me an email telling me that my order was processing for Faker. Yes, Faker's on the way, baby. Then they sent me another email saying, this was like day or so later. They sent me another email saying they had canceled my Faker due to inventory issues. You should know your inventory. I'm I'm sorry. You should know your inventory. I'm not saying things don't happen. I've worked logistics for many, many years, and I understand that inventory can get messed up, and I know how warehouses work. I get it. But when you are going to do a convention thing like this, and you are going to offer pre-orders, if nothing else, you should have at least given yourself room for material unaccounted for. You should have said, we're only going to take 10,000 pre-orders because we have 11,000 units coming. And whatever's left of those units, we will then put back up on the website or ship them out to stores, and that will be fine. But we got to guarantee our pre-orders. You didn't do that. And I've heard I am not the only one that encountered this. I've seen post after post after post on X where people are posting exactly what I'm saying, that their pre-orders from this specific Walmart con are getting canceled. At the same time, I bought this She-Ra. And as soon as I saw they were canceling my orders, I said, I'm not going to get her. That's how I felt. Well, I did get her. She's right here. And personally, I think this looks beautiful. Like, I really, truly do. We just talked about a figure, a Conan, where we talked about how you can look at the artwork on that and you're not exactly looking at what's coming in the future. But that's not true with Motu. Mattel, has been pretty consistent about what it shows us in the artwork. There's a good chance it's coming our way. So, Mantenna showed up on this box art. And as far as I'm aware, I think I've already seen pictures for a Masterverse Mantenna. That's fantastic. I love that they hide things in the artwork that then you can look forward to. And, to put that one into perspective, Swiftwind is right there on this artwork. Does that guarantee a Swiftwind? No. But if you're going to give me a Swiftwind, like you gave me a Battle Cat, like you gave me a Panther, you better believe I'm going to buy that unicorn. Like, that would be amazing. She looks utterly fantastic. This artwork is phenomenal. This artwork is phenomenal. All Motu artwork tends to be phenomenal. No problems there. Never had a problem with their artwork. I think this is a big part of the line. I also tend to really like She-Ra. I will say this. I like her a lot. I like her more in comic book depictions than I do on her show. And I'm talking about the original show. I have not watched any of the other She-Ras yet. I don't have an opinion on that yet. I will get an opinion as I go and as I watch everything. I'll get there. But I like her a lot. This She-Ra, and so the cross-sell down here, Terraclaws, I have him. Ninjor, we talked about him. She-Ra, we have it. This entire line is done. Comes with the sword, comes with the shield. I'm going to go ahead and let it go on this one. The sword and the shield may be different things, because this is a new Eternia She-Ra. And a new Eternia She-Ra might be different than the She-Ra that we understand. The normal She-Ra has a sword that becomes a shield, or a shield that becomes whatever she needs it to be, like a lasso or something of that nature. She has an attack which is more versatile than He-Man, but also a little more restrictive. When she chooses to block, she has to form the sword into the shield, and she has to go complete defensive. That's actually kind of a cool concept. She has to really think out her fighting strategy. She would have to block with the shield, push you back, change it into a sword and lunge at you, or push you back with the shield, step back, turn it into a lasso, throw it around your legs, and then pull you out. That's cool. She has to consider each one of her attacks, and then that thing that she has, that sword, turns into the weapon she needs. That's a pretty cool concept. That works. That's neat. That's cool. I like that. it says, for the honor of Grayskull, She-Ra stands with the powers of New Eternia against the evil horde and protects the boundaries of the universe from an invasion. So, stands for the honor of Grayskull. Does that mean that this She-Ra is on Eternia? I mean, I guess it would. So this She-Ra is on Eternia with Grayskull, not, like, I all of a sudden can't remember the other, where she comes from. I'll remember it sometime. But you get the idea. She did not come from Eternia, or rather she came from Eternia, but then she got moved, and now she kind of goes back and forth across the universes when she visits her brother and things like that. But she's dealing with the Horde, which is not in, it's not on Eternia, except for this, where it seems like the Horde is actually attacking Eternia, and she's over there now. I really like this armor design and everything. I have high hopes for this. I do. I do see a problem. I do see a problem. A problem that almost makes me wonder if I want to open it. Or if I want to take it to a Walmart and see if there's a possibility of trading it in to get another one. For the sake of, I am going to open this. I am going to review it. We are going to talk about it. But it is actually going to open up another video down the road. Maybe I will record it as early as tomorrow, talking about a disadvantage of not finding figures in the wild. But let's open her. Okay, so she comes with a punching hand, and she comes with 2 gripping hands, which are on the figure. She comes with this shield, which looks very good, by the way. Like, that's really solid. It's really, really cool. It has a lot of etch work and things like that, and I like this blue thing right here, which is kind of see-through. It's kind of got that, it's got that shine depending on where you look at it. That's really good. Not a terrible color. I like this quite a bit, actually. I think this is very well done. Also like the sword. Probably could have been a little better on the blue for the for the internal diamond piece, but very solid nonetheless. And I like the gold as opposed to the original silver color. I actually do. I think the gold really works for She-Ra. I think it really pops. This She-Ra has a cape, which is good, but not a wireframe cape. This She-Ra, and I don't mean to call this out really hardcore, but I have to ask, Mattel, you are doing Masters of the Universe. McFarlane is doing DC. How is McFarlane maintaining a price point right alongside you? You're doing this, and he's doing wired capes. How is McFarlane matching you? Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people like to crap on McFarlane and the figures he has done. So I have to ask, if those figures are considered bad, how are you producing a She-Ra right now, later in the line, with single elbows? Well, McFarlane is still doing double elbows. How's that happening? Wired capes? I'm just saying, it seems weird to me that this line seems to be going backwards in certain ways. And for people that feel like the elbows don't matter, I've seen a lot of people say they prefer the single joint elbows. I don't know why. Like, you know what? I have to grab something to do this review. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have to grab something. There's She-Ra, right there, okay? She has double elbows. What that means for She-Ra is that she can do this. That doesn't seem like a big deal to you? I'm sure. Big deal. Can you do that? Can you get your... No. You can't. You can't do it. And for that matter, if she really wants to, She-Ra can move her arm even more than that. She-Ra can put her hand across her heart and take a breath after something terrible or a hard fight. That's a pose you can strike. You could put She-Ra as concerned. Can you be concerned? Crap. Hold on, I'm trying. Put your hand. Can you get... No. You can't! This doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if this is a cost-cutting procedure. They're not doing it with the male figures. But you have walked the female figures backwards. Why? Some people are saying this isn't a big deal. Some people are saying that they prefer the single-jointed elbows. This range of motion, this simple range of motion, cannot be accomplished with this figure. Oh my God. What? Guys, I just did this, right? I just did this. Look at that. Look at her. There she is. Hand. We've seen this. She can do this. Because she has this. See that? See how that works? See how she can be like, poo! Woo! Look at this. They got rid of this. She doesn't have... I can't believe that. Oh my God. I can't believe that. They single jointed the arm, the elbow. They got rid of the bicep articulation. She can't move her arm here. She has no swivel. She doesn't have the double jointed elbow. She has single elbows. What about your legs? Same legs, arguably better. I say that because, like, these legs are a little more slim, femme legs. Still fine. But this, she has, like, muscle in her legs. Like, defined muscle, which is pretty cool. I like that. I actually really like that for She-Ra. This costume is magnificent. I'm not kidding about that. This looks great. I love this gold. I love this white. I love the way that the shell comes up and like protects the breastplate and everything. I think that's really good. I'm going to block that light a little bit. I think the helmet is pretty cool. I like the hair. I actually think this hair is better. Look at this hair. Look at the hair that we got with the first She-Ra. It's fine. It does its job. It's fine. It's pretty good. It's straight and everything like that. I like it. But that's really good hair. It's like wild, it's unkept, but it's like, it's somehow beautiful, and it doesn't get in her way. She has, look at this, there's a lot of give in the side bangs and whatnot, where, oh, this one has it too. Okay, the back is really stiff on that hair. Less stiff on this hair, but still. But the hair is beautiful. The hair is beautiful. The headpiece is really beautiful. It's just, it's so cool the way that it comes out and everything like that. This armor and everything. These shoulder pads go up to get out of her way, which is an irony, if you ask me, because her arm can't get in her way anyway, because this... There, that's actually kind of difficult to do. This is her... And neither one of her hands have this articulation. They only have this. So this She-Ra, because she has the double jointed elbow, can get this pose going. And I can turn this arm to get the arm up there. But this She-Ra, when she raises her sword to the sky, it's all going to be in the wrist. Oh my gosh. It just, so look, I got it, right? But which one, arguably, looks a little more natural about it? Are you seeing, like, personally, this one looks a little more natural. That natural curve in the elbow, the fact that I can turn the bicep. She just has a really straight, hard arm, and I can kind of... But then, why did we do this? Why have we taken the line, put your arm down? Oh, man. I did not want to hate a She-Ra. What are we doing? Why did you... Guys, Masterverse was working. I love Masterverse. I have loved Masterverse. I have really, really loved it. I have 2 shelves worth of Masterverse. I collected almost the entire line. And in the last couple figures, the last couple waves, you downgraded the females. You didn't do it to the males, but you walked the females backwards. Like, I like these new legs. I like these boots. I like this concept. Look, that's okay. You still got the boot movement. You still got the upper thigh swivel. Why would you take the bicep swivel away? Why would you take the elbow away? You still have the middle torso. It feels a little tight. There's an okay amount of movement in it. It's not great. Do you have any? Yeah, you have a left and a right kind of turn. That's a thing. She does not have that left and right turn. Oh, no, she does. I'm sorry. I forgot. It's hidden under the dress. She does have the left and right turn. But her upper torso, woo! Look at that. Look at that. Woo! See that? She doesn't have a lower torso, but there's very little I'm not going to be able to accomplish with this She-Ra. This is the first She-Ra of your line. This is early in your line. First She-Ra, first attempt. You nailed it. She looks fantastic. She moves well. She looks good. She sits at a price point of $25. There's no reason to complain. I made a couple of arguments with her. I felt like her breasts, it's arguable, but I feel like she should be a little bigger than this. I don't necessarily care, but if I'm looking at her body overall sculpt, I kind of wish we would have got a second face with a little bit of a different face. I always thought that this face was a little bit goofy but passable, and I always thought this should have been a little bigger. Well, it seems like they added the extra effect to kind of give her the breast cups that made a little more sense for her. She seems like her body's more proportionally accurate. Like, she's got those really strong legs and everything, but she's got like arms that are kind of thinner, but it works. And then now I can't bend down. Like, oh no. We are not wooing as easily. We can't move forward. She can go to the side. She can go to the sides. She can go back. It takes some real effort to pull her back, though. She cannot go forward. I can't believe this. And, just to put it out there, my figure, her eyes, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this because my camera's acting funny. And I think that also, as long as I am in the picture, it's not going to focus on her the way I would like her to. But her eyes, I got her. Her eyes, she's looking up. Her eyes are not centered properly. So she's like looking up. Almost like she's in the process of rolling her eyes. This makes me sad. I got bad eyes where she's looking up. I got a fantastic concept here. She looks good. The arms are trash. We still haven't got past these capes. The hair is better. I really like this skirt design. I like this armor a lot. I can't believe this. It is not often on this show that I've bought something that I then have to say is tell me I didn't just find something else. I think I just found something else. Why? What is happening? her legs seem fine. Right? They seem fine. There's nothing wrong. They're nice. They're straight. They work. You're looking at them from the angles here. Okay? Her knees, I have them pushed forward as far as they go. This is it. This is where they go. Straight legs. The only problem one could argue is that this boot, for whatever reason, its cuff is a little far down, and there's always been this little gap here. But it's nothing that's ever really bothered me. They screwed up her knees. I'm not the only one seeing that, right? Are we seeing that? Are we seeing this? Why is her leg doing this? That is just a straight leg right now. That is her knee. Okay? That is her knee. See that? That's just like the other She-Ra. I just showed you the same thing. That's her knees. See her knees? How their knees are supposed to lock right here, and then she's supposed to have straight legs? What is this? Why is this thing? What is this? Why? It's not the boot. It's her knee. So to get her leg to be straight, I have to pull the leg down and create that straight angle, opening up that part of the kneecap. There should not be a gap in the kneecap to make her stand straight. To make her stand straight like every other figure in the entire line, the knees lock, the feet are straight. The knees lock, the legs go straight down. I can set her down right now. She is standing. If I put your legs like that and I set you down, there, now your legs are straight. To get you to stand, I would have to do like, oh, this is ridiculous. I cannot believe this. My show is built on first impressions. I don't do reviews necessarily. I tell you why I love certain things. I tell you what they mean to me. I tell you what I like about designs, what speaks to me, and what I see in the artistic expression of a thing. Every now and then, on this show, I open something and it disappoints me. It doesn't happen very often. You can look back through my catalog, even figures that I have negative things to say about. I will tell you whether or not I like them. In fact, we just covered Conan. And I talked about all the things that I don't think work, all the things that I think are problems with Conan, his design, and the kind of figure that he is, and the era that he really fits into, and the issues I have with Super 7. And I finished that by telling you that on a personal note, with all of my problems aside, I still think you could buy this figure and you would be happy with him. You'd be happy with him. I think he's a good figure. I think he fits in a certain angle, and I think that he's overpriced for what he is, but I feel like if you can get past that, you would like him. He's a good figure. Mine has a bad face. She looks about stupid with her eyes up. I don't like that they've walked the arms backwards. Single jointed elbows, it's not okay. Removing the bicep swivel, not okay. If you have to increase the line's price, just do it. This is not acceptable. You went backwards. You went backwards. How do you do that? How do you take a line this good and move it backwards? Do you realize this might be the first item in all of Motu that we have talked about that I don't think I like. And it's a She-Ra? You messed up a She-Ra? I can't believe this. Like, I'm stupefied. I think there's a way to save her. I think if I could get another She-Ra. If I could get a different She-Ra, right? I don't know, though. Maybe the fact that this one has so much torso movement, maybe there's something to that. But if I could find her, like, on sale and buy another one, could I swap these arms? Could I heat this up and pull these arms out and put these arms in and just deal with the fact that the gauntlets are going to be the original gauntlets and then just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, hey, but at least I got the costume and that's pretty cool? Could I do that? Could I make that adjustment? Could I pop these off and replace them? They seem like they have the same joint configuration, but it almost seems like her arms are a bit bigger too, so it's hard to tell. Oh, I can't believe this. Put your arm down. Oh, and she feels wrong too. Like, I try to move her and she's like restrictive and... I can't believe this. Trash. This is the first time that I have given anything that I've bought from Motu a trash rating. Either I got very unlucky and I just got a really bad one, or she is trash. The fuck out of here. Fuck. Let's go to the chat. I want to see Matt Reeves do a one-off movie for Green Arrow's Supermax storyline. Super gritty take on it. Walmart has been lately canceling people's orders as of late. Yesterday, a bunch of people's Omega Reds and War Machines were canceled for no reason. It's a mess. Oh, you scare me with that one. That's one I bought. That worries me. That would suck to have the War Machine Omega Red canceled. But I have seen people finding it at the store, so maybe it wouldn't be too big of a deal. I don't know. I'll crap on McFarlane right now. Watch this. It's 2025, and this dude is charging $60 for figures with visible pins. Boom! Roasted. And yet, just gonna say, compared to what I just saw, I'll give Todd's flowers when he wants to. He's absolutely good at it. The wire capes, etc., the Kickstarter, Medieval Spawn, by far one of my favorites. But that is a Kickstarter, so... Wow. Shenanigans. Crap. 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Mad Hatter said he hated this figure. I'll bet he did. Bill fighting with She-Ra. Move, damn it. So this thing is absolute garbage. I see the toy maker has been hit with the let's ruin the girls and better the boys fad, huh? Bill, her eyes looking up could suggest another thing, too. Starts with it. Rhymes with... Amazing package, crap figure. You got scam, bro. I'll come out with it, Bill. She-Ra. His O-face. As bad as that Donatello face from the repack of the 6 figures. I can hear Bill's soul turning to ash with each second. Trapped her like a bad habit. Came back from the Common Writer press conference. Fun times. I see this was less fun. Bill didn't drop that figure. He yeeted it. I can't believe it. I mean, I can't believe it. How could they mess her up so bad? You know what else is getting me? They have a Tila coming. The Tila that we've been asking for from the very beginning, the retro Tila. They have a Tila coming. I've got to look at pictures. Did they do the same crap with her arms? You know, I had problems with the Evelyn. I did, and I talked about them. But I got over them, too. Maybe it was something about the way the Evelyn was made that it didn't bother me as much, but like... Oh, I can't believe that. Do we really trust Mattel to make figures around the upcoming live movie? I mean, for the guys, if there was a better use of Bill's streaming thumbnail, the one where you look not mad, just disappointed, this would be that occasion. Bro, if this was being disappointed, I don't want to see Mad. Oh wait, I've listened to Mad, the Kingdom Hearts stuff. I just can't believe it. Why is it so bad? I voted for the code. I appreciate it. We'll check this NECA figure out. The Terminator Ultimate T800 Tech Noir action figure. I have seen the current NECA stuff coming out. Oh, my mind will not get off this. How could it be so bad? How could they do that? I really cannot believe it. I've been backing off of the Masterverse line a little bit. Because, I mean, you put your money here, you can't put it here. And I've been saying I'll be able to go back and pick up Masterverse that I want. It's not going to be a problem. Now I'm starting to wonder if the females of the line are going to be done at this level of quality. Do I want to give them money for the males of the line? Sure, the guys will look good. They'll work. They'll be good figures. But, like... I don't necessarily want to support a line where half the characters that I really like Evelyn, like Tila being my favorite, She-Ra, if they're just going to be bad figures, there's no point in, like... Because, like, we still have some really cool Tila stuff coming. Like the Sorcerer and stuff like that. Like the final Sorcerer. So bad. There's so much hype with the package and the figure was cheap swill. I'm going to keep it $120. That should have been $120. How much did it cost? I believe that we're sitting in the $30 realm, technically, at this point, for Motu. Motu is about to hit a weird wall with Mondo showing 112 Motu stuff. About collectors, adult collectors are going to have a whole new option at the scale. Yeah, But Mondo also does the single joint elbows. Like, I've noticed that with a lot of their figures. They do the single joint elbows as well. So I'm still curious if that will be better or worse. Bill doing his best Billy Madison impression. Mattel, you blew it. I have returned. Howdy, howdy, y'all. Hey, what's going on, man? Bill to Mattel. I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. Dude. I would love to talk to somebody that knows more than me, that has a gateway to Mattel or is somebody. Like, I would love to do that. I would love to ask seriously, how? Why? Who okayed it? Who said that was fine? Who okayed it? Who said? Who sat in a room, looked at it, guaranteed the price? And here's the thing. It can't even be a money-saving thing. That's the other thing that's blowing my mind. It cannot be a money-saving thing, because if it was a money issue, right? If it was a money issue, if they were trying to save some money, if they were like, hey, we're going to tone it down to single joint elbows and whatnot, doesn't sound like a big deal, but for every single joint elbow we do over the double joint elbow, it's going to save us some money. Pennies add up. That's a true statement. Every time you save 3 pennies on the elbow, you make 3 pennies plus a range of 30,000 units. That's a lot of money. If that's what it was, if it was a cost-cutting procedure, why'd you not do it to any of the guys? I've bought quite a few of them, even from the new figures, and even all the new figures, even with the retro guys. They don't even do this like this Conan. Like, they have better arms than he has. I don't understand. I don't. I can't figure it out. I cannot believe they messed it up that bad. Like, my mind is running circles. I cannot believe they messed it up that bad. Is that what I am to expect from the Motu line going forward? Because if it is, and I know this might sound like overreactive, I guess, but that's you will have chased me out of the line. If that is what I can expect from the female characters of your line, you want to talk about cherry picking? You're going to have to impress the crap out of me with everything you release to an unreasonable amount, and I'm still going to be cherry picking your line. I think, because that is 2 figures now. The Evelyn, I let it go. I said there was enough there that I still liked. You guys, that's a terrible She-Ra. There are certain things in your line you cannot mess up like that. You can't do it. Like, can you imagine if they release, like, can you imagine if they release He-Man under par? Like the literal star of your entire line? Like, you can't do that. You cannot. I'm stupefied. It's so bad. Yeah, I guess he did. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I really am. Motu 112 Motu has double joint elbows on the unpainted prototypes. Really? Oh. Okay. That interests me. But Mondo is expensive. Like, look at their Ghostbusters. I wanted their Ghostbusters until they were costing like $100 a Ghostbuster. You get your cash when you replace those joints. I meant to ask, Bill, having you gotten the email for your Omega Red vs. War Machine that it'll be shipping soon, or make sure your address and such is correct before they ship it? I don't think I've received an email for those yet. I don't think so. On either way, whether they cancel or bring it to me. Until then, Mattel. Bill, until then, Mattel, I'll go with those Super 7 Conans and dig on these. Bill, how's the reorganizing going? I mean, it's fine. I did all of the DC shelf so far. I took about 7 items off the shelf, and now I'm going to start, I may start going to the Marvel shelf and start playing around with that, but I'm not 100% sure which shelf is next in terms of my rearrangement. Mondo is the Hot Toys of 80s and 90s 12-inch figures. They are very, very expensive. Yeah, they are. And sometimes to the point where I think they're overdone. I bought Tila, but I bought Tila because she's Tila. I mean, that's my favorite Motu figure. So I was more than willing, and I've never bought a 1/6 figure, so I thought it would be cool to have a 1/6 Tila standing over on my desk. And she does. She stands right there on my desk. She's over there. But, like, most of their stuff is pretty expensive, to be fair. Like, pretty expensive. I don't really have time to open another figure right now. I didn't expect for us to do as much talk as we did. Oh, and we kept like, one of the things that was slowing us down, we kept like getting ties on everything. So it was making it real hard for us for somebody to like win. I'm used to spending a lot of money for my collection, but the 1/6 and 1/4 stuff is prohibitively expensive. It's time to go get the wife. No, not tonight, but so we only reviewed 2 figures. So to let you know, I do have, he came today. That is the Frazetta Conan. And of course, I mean, he came up in the stuff. But this looks promising. Like, really promising. Like, I mean, that is the figure right there, posed, looking like he came right off the painting. I mean, because that's the painting, right? So, I mean, that's really good. Like, that is arguably fantastic. That's Frazetta's art right here. That's the figure right there. That's done very, very well. I have high hopes. I really do. Opening it up. That's the figure right here. That's the figure. I mean, it looks good, guys. Like, I have my hopes with it quite a bit. And we didn't open it on this show, and I don't think I'm going to wait till next Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I'll probably get home tomorrow and do a single video for him. Because, like, I doubt that I'm waiting to open this one. Just so we know. I also debate opening the Norseman the same way. Doing his own thing. And I would open it. Like I see, let's open it now. I would. But with it being 9:41, I just don't have the time to do a talk on him. Honestly, I do like the whole insanely long voting session. I actually don't mind talking, chilling, and hanging out here with you and the community here. No, sometimes when these episodes, when I only open 2 items, it doesn't bother me. That's not. I'm not like trying to be like we should get stuff done. This whole thing, the reason the video works the way it does, is for what we're doing. We vote, we open some figures, we make a couple videos, we hang out, we talk. That's literally the point of it. I'm not trying to push one way or another. It's just kind of crazy. Sometimes we get in here and we open 4 or 5 figures. Sometimes we get in here and we open like 2. Bill, you don't have to do a poll. Let's just call it Bill's Choice. I like to give people the idea. I like to bring everybody in and say, hey, what are we opening? Like, I just feel like it's cool that everybody gets to be kind of a part of it. I like that. Should have opened that Conan. Mattel stunk up the joint with that fishy Tila. I do agree with Cyber too. Mattel pulled a Marvel Legends with that Evelyn and She-Ra. Yeah, they went backwards. I hear those Icon collectibles are fragile. Any experience with them? I have all of them. Literally. All of them. And I'm currently building a playlist right now where you can check out every single one of my experiences with them. And from what I have experienced, mine have not broke. Except for one. My Tigra did break. And I do talk about it, and I do buy a replacement Tigra, and I have an entire video talking about that too, and that's on my playlists. I think, let me be sure before I say this, because right now I'm rebuilding all the playlists on my channel on purpose. I want, I'm trying to get something done here with my stuff for my playlists so that they're all correct. And so that, because the way we've been doing the show lately, I want all of my stuff to link back to something. So if we're talking about Playmates and you want to see any Playmates videos we've done, or Super 7 or whatever, I have them all on their own playlists now. And looks like my Frazetta Icons playlist is currently at 4 videos, which I imagine there will be more. I have, yeah, they're in order from the newest one, going down to the oldest one, I think. Let me check my sort. Oh, nope, there, yeah. So it starts at the very top. There's going to be skipping the Savage Crucible Death Dealer, where we talked about that whole situation. And then as you go down, you come across to the original. So I have the Dark Wolf pre-order back when I talked about when it was first coming out. I have the video where I added Tigra and Dark Wolf at the same time. I talk about them. And then I talk about another Tigra because I had to replace her because she broke. And there's a video called Comfort Price. That's in my Toy Topics list. And that is specifically where I'm talking about the fact that that Tigra broke and that it caused me some real problems. I finally got some real Batarangs. Really? I mean, if we don't have voice chats, the text chat reading is a good close second. Hey, Railfan, we're only like, what, 3 months till the 10-year anniversary of... Oh my gosh, is that true? Your name's becoming a decade old soon. You mean where they help me pick a better name on YouTube? Wow. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, it's so wild sometimes. I just did a video not way too long ago talking about how this channel just turned 11 years. Like, it's wild sometimes when I really think about it, man. Absolutely wild. But we are going to call this. I'm going to have to go because because I wake up at 4:40 a.m. So it's about to be 10 p.m. here, which is not the greatest thing for me because I do have to get my sleep. We opened 2 figures. Not bad. And I will open that Conan probably tomorrow. Probably on a single video, and then edit that and whatnot. I've been getting a lot of these videos done lately. I've had a chance to actually do some editing and whatnot and get some stuff done as stuff has kind of calmed down. And so that's good. We'll keep going. Trying to make this on Wednesdays. That's something. Before we go, I have to change the Wednesday thing for the next week. I got to change it to either Tuesday or Thursday. I will figure out which one, and I will probably post it on my YouTube posts and whatnot to let everybody know. Because Red Sonja comes out next Wednesday. The movie Red Sonja. It is in theaters for one day. The 13th, one day only. It has one showing, 7 p.m., that's it. At one theater, that's it. In one studio. One screen. So I have one chance to see the Red Sonja movie, and that's it. And I have waited for a good Red Sonja movie for a long time. And this one looks good. Even if it's not even necessarily a great Red Sonja movie, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic swords and sorcery movie. And even if that's all it is, I could even live with that. On the big screen, it's going to be in IMAX. So, I mean, I'm not missing this. I got one chance. I'm going to go see it. So that means we're probably going to be doing the live on Tuesday or Thursday. And we'll figure out which one of those that is when I figure out what kind of time I have. But for what it's worth, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to get out of here. Take care of yourselves.